Hash Sagafi, Liberty Home Mortgage, and this is another topic of my Sales 101 series, okay? So if you're a salesperson out there, you know what this is for. All salespeople, work harder, not smarter, okay? You like that one? I always like the salesman, hash work smarter, not harder, but those are the same people that only want to put in 20 hours a week of work, okay? I've got news for everybody out there. When you are struggling, and I'm doing this video here at the end of 2022, start of 2023, right now the real estate industry is getting the treatment, okay? A lot of layoffs, a lot of bad stuff happening. Right now is got to work more hours. You got to come in earlier, you got to stay later, you're going to do more business and get paid less money. Too bad that's the way it is, okay? The saying that everybody gravitates to is, oh, no, you've got to work smarter, not harder. And I've said in the past, that is not true initially. And this is what I mean. When you start off in a sales job, now here's the truth. I'm 23 years into this sales job, and this is a concept that I still have to do to this day. You never get out of it. But let me tell you what I mean by that. In order to have a successful sales career, in order to reach maximum levels of success, whatever that is, and success is different for everybody. Here's one thing you need, and this is a big word, data. In order to work smarter, you have to have data to analyze. You need historical data, you need past information, you need things to analyze so you can figure out how to work smarter. I would argue that you cannot work smarter unless you have the data to analyze. You've got to analyze data to see, is this working, is this not working? I'll give you a quick example. Let's go back when I used to do direct mail. I would send out direct mailers. I started doing direct mail back in 2002. My callback rate was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 4 to 6%. It was a ridiculously high callback rate, okay? Today, my callback rate might be like 0.2% or something. I might have a mail piece that I push out there and I don't get any phone calls on. If I don't track that data, remember this saying, and this is a very, very important saying, if you do not measure it, you cannot manage it. What does that mean? If you do not track and measure your actions, your calls, your contacts, your conversions, your appointments, your sits, your pitches, your closes, if you don't track it and write it down and put it onto a chart, a graph, a sheet of paper, if you don't do any of that stuff, you can't manage it. What the hell do you have to look at, okay? You need to be able to look at data. I'll give you an example. I mailed out 1,000 mail pieces. I got one phone call. They told me to get lost, okay? Well, because I measured, I had 1,000 mailers go out, and I measured, I only got one phone call, and it converted into 0. Okay, this is now where we move into working smarter, is either I'm gonna stop doing the mail piece, that doesn't work, or I've got to sit here and say, okay, maybe 1,000 is not enough. Maybe I have to mail out 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000, okay? I have to keep tracking and measuring this data until I get to the numbers that make sense. Now, there's also a level of, let's just pretend, whatever product I sell, I make $1,000 every time I close it. Okay, I get $1,000. If I had to send out 1,000 mailers and that mailer cost me $400 in total, and I got one phone call, and that phone call turned into a conversion, that's $1,000. I spent $400 to make $1,000. It makes sense mathematically. But if that 1,000 mailers cost $500 and it converted to one, but it didn't close, it's 0, and I've got to mail out 3, 4, 5,000 mailers, suddenly I've got to spend $2,000 to get back $1,000. I got news for you. If you're working smarter, you're not going to send out that mail piece anymore, okay? That's why you have to track it. But before you can, you have to put in the hours. Now here's something for you. We could talk money, we could talk time. I always tell people this. In the world of sales, there's 2 ways to get more business. Spend more money, put in more time. I've got news for you. When you're starting off, or you're struggling, or you're just trying to not go bankrupt for God's sakes, your time is free. This is where you have to work harder. You put in more hours and more time because you can. And I know there's people out there, Hash, what about time management? And this is, when you're starting out, I'm telling this to you, you've got to put in the hours. You've got to put in the hours. When you put in the hours, you measure it all, you analyze. Now this is where we go into working smarter, okay? You've got to put in the hours, you've got to put in the time, you've got to put in the reps. For my friends watching, who are my wrestling friends, of course, Any great wrestler will tell you, in order to get a great double leg down, in order to win championships and things like that, they didn't practice it for 1 hour. They put in the hours. They worked harder. They put in the reps, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 double leg, just drilling that damn move over and over and over and over. You've got to put in the reps. That's work harder. Work smarter is, it's work harder, then work smarter. It's let's get the reps in, let's get the muscle memory going, let's go. Then as we get in the reps, I did 300 today, then I'm gonna analyze how I did those 300. Again, in the world of sales, my question becomes, we're gonna put in 10 hours of work today. We're gonna make calls, emails, texts, door knock, do all of it. But we've gotta put in the hours. We're then gonna analyze what went into it, and that's when we shift over to working smarter. But initially, you must work harder. You've gotta put in the hours, you've gotta put in the reps, you've gotta gather the data, and again, if you do not measure it, you cannot manage it. Remember that. Keep following all of my series. This Sales Series 101, this applies to anybody. If you're working from home and your job is to interview people and then get them set up for jobs or job placements or something like that, my question to you would be, how many messages did you make on LinkedIn today? How many conversations did you have? How many appointments did you set? How many conversations did you have? How many went good? How many went bad? And we dive deeper and deeper and deeper, and this is how we sharpen up your business and we move into the working smarter part. So all salespeople can pay attention to this stuff, and this is all part of my series that I do, Sales 101. So subscribe to my YouTube page. I need as many subscribers as I can get, of course. Keep watching. Share these videos with your friends to show them this stuff is helpful for other people too. And if you want to comment, question, whatever you want, thanks as always, and we'll see you at the next one.